in the U.S. is at 583,000, which is greater than the number of black males enrolled in higher education, which is only 537,000. On any given day, 1 in 3 blacks between the age of 20 and 29 is in prison, probation, or parole. Is Prince Harry, what is his name? Can someone help me? I guess he's owed that much respect. And Meghan, are they going to help us with these issues? I'm going to repeat that. On any given day, 1 in 3 black males between the age of 20 and 29 is in prison, probation, or parole. In 1999, nearly 1.5 million children in the U.S. had at least one parent in state or federal prison. Wow. Are they going to help us out with that? How about AIDS? Are they going to help us out with this? It is widely known that AIDS is a biochemical weapon used against black people, and particularly Africa, through vaccination programs. Blacks account for 30% of people with AIDS here in America. 54% of children under the age of 13 with AIDS are black. HIV and AIDS is the #1 cause of death of blacks aged 25 to 44. You know how that's happening? They check the brothers going in of prison. I just gave you the amount of brothers approximately that's in prison, probation or parole. But when they come out, they don't check them. And then the sisters are there waiting for them, thinking they got their knight in shining armor. And they may. I don't know. Malcolm went to prison. And we know he is one of our shining princes. Thanks to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He didn't do it himself. But since it was his birthday the other day, we're just paying homage to Brother Malcolm. But many of these brothers come out worse than they went in, unless they got some divine intervention. So we know some of the things and horrific things that goes on. I've counseled in prisons. I was a counselor in a juvenile prison, and I used to do mentoring and counsel with prisons for brothers ages 21 to 25. Some horrific things go on in there. I don't got to detail it. And then these sisters are there waiting for them. And then they have sexual activity with these brothers. And we wonder why ages 25 to 44 were the #1 carriers of that. Oh, really? The state of black health. Every year, 250,000 blacks approximately die from the 10 biggest killers of black people, which is the total population of Birmingham, Alabama. 250,000 blacks approximately every year die from the 10 biggest killers. What is that? Heart disease, cancer, stroke, AIDS, accident, homicides, some by the police, diabetes, pneumonia, influenza, chronic pulmonary disease, asthma, bronchial disease, and infant mortality. 79,000 black boys and men were violently murdered between 1985 and 1993, mostly by other blacks. We got to take responsibility for that. Blacks have 60% higher diabetes-related mortality than whites. And I could go on and on and on. 25% higher cancer mortality rate than anyone else, including breast cancer. Is Prince Harry or Henry or whatever his name and his new boo, Meghan, are they going to help out with these issues? And I could go on and on and on. Don't get distracted. These people are letting us know more and more and more what they think about us. Just in California last week, Starbucks at it again, showing what they think about us. And some of us are still silly enough to be giving them our hard-earned pennies and dollars. This is the Hour of Power with Brother Sharif. Go to Hour of Power, Sharif Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share. You know the motto, so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. Just last week in California, a lady went to a Starbucks in California. She made an order for her co-worker named Pedro. They put the name on the bag so they knew who the order was for. The lady who worked for Starbucks supposedly said she didn't understand the order. So she wrote Beaner on his order instead of Pedro. I didn't even know this. Beaner is a derogatory term for Mexican Americans. It's equivalent to saying the N-word for us. I didn't even know that. Wrote Beaner on his bag instead of writing Pedro. Goddamn Starbucks at it again. And some of our silly asses are still go to Starbucks spending our money. Oh, that don't got nothing to do with me, long as I get my latte coffee and whatever else foolishness you get from there. They ain't gonna do nothing to the little white girl who ever did that but move her to another Starbucks. And then May 29th, they're supposedly supposed to shut down several thousand or 700 stores to have cultural and racial sensitivity classes nationwide in Starbucks. Yeah, and what is that going to do? What happened to the woman who called the cops on those brothers right here in my area in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago? What happened to them? Moved her to another store because you got to look at the wording. It didn't say she was fired. It said she was moved to a different location. No, it said she wasn't at that location anymore. So that tells me that they just moved her to a different location. She's not at this location anymore. This woman who called the cops on the brothers here in this area, she's not at this location anymore. So where is she then? You see what they do? And that is light. You think that's offensive? That they possibly moved the lady who called the cops on these brothers at the Starbucks? I've asked it before, and no one has been able to answer my question yet. So I'm going to ask the question again. If you're offended that they possibly moved this woman who called the police on these brothers who weren't doing anything, was supposedly waiting for their business partner at Starbucks, are you offended by that? Okay, I am. But where is Darren Wilson? Come on, people, talk to me. Darren Wilson, see how quick we forget? The same one who is a child killer and murdered Mike Brown back in 2014 in Missouri. I believe I'm quoting the right city. Where is he? See how quick we forget? Where is Darren Wilson? The last time I recalled any living species, ant, animal, or human being needs to eat, needs clothing, and needs water every day. Where is Darren Wilson? He's eating somehow. He got to keep a roof over his head somehow. He got to have clothes on his back somehow. Where's George Zimmerman? The other child killer who killed our brother Trayvon Martin, who was walking to the store, not bothering anyone, just want to get an Arizona iced tea, and he gets murdered in his own neighborhood, and this man is still yet to serve 1 day in prison, and it took over 44 days to even bring charges. Where is he? 2 child killers haven't served a day in prison. Where are they? So if they let them run free, let them eat, Darren Wilson is doing something. Someone is taking care of him, or he's working somewhere. If they let that go, why would we be surprised that a woman who calls the cops on some black men at Starbucks would be relocated to another store? But they keep so much stuff going. And we got these people like Al Sharpton. I usually don't call out names, but I'm a little upset. As you can see, I don't have no notes. No notes other than those statistics that I quoted off to you of things that we should be concerned about. I'm just speaking from the heart. They keep so many things going. And we got these people like Al Sharpton and this Crump, Attorney Crump, whatever his name is. He ain't solved the case yet. They go from one thing to another and ain't got no justice for it yet. They're another distraction to make us think something is getting done. We got to get it done. We got to bring about our own justice. And I don't want no one running around saying, oh, Brother Sharif is promoting violence. No, this is the month of Ramadan, a month of peace and fasting and reflection. So I'm not promoting violence. But I speak like this all the time. And I try to act on it by helping our people. We got to be kinder to each other. We got to promote and support black business. Stop killing each other with the tongue. Stop deadening our minds and influencing other people to participate in futile things that's not going nowhere, like putting a bunch of energy into some quote-unquote royal wedding. People ain't worried about you. People shedding tears over a royal wedding, and it's black men and women and children being lynched as we speak. It was 2 brothers just lynched in Oklahoma just 2 weeks ago, talking about it was a gun deal going wrong. And we don't think that's always their line. It's no foul play. Just in the last 2-3 weeks alone, it's been a lot of suspicious murders. Or should I say lynchings. I ain't see I seen very little concern about the lynchings of our people across this country, but everyone up in arms over some damn royal wedding. Are we serious? These people don't care nothing about you. Megan said she don't even identify as black, this biracial woman that he married. And what are they going to do about some of those things that I just ran down? On any given day, 1 out of 3 black men between the age of 20 and 29 is on probation, parole, or in prison. And I know what some of the naysayers that say, oh, that's our fault. Well, some of it is. But a lot of it is set up. Set up. It is traps set out there for us to fail. Do you know that they have alternative schools for 3rd graders now? And they're working on alternative schools from 1st through 3rd grade? Alternative schools just used to be for middle school students. Now they got alternative schools and they're working on it because, again, when I was in North Carolina, I'm not speaking on what I think. When I was in North Carolina, I was a school counselor and mentor. And some of my students, when they would get in trouble, I would have to go to the alternative schools to check on them. And one time they sent me to this place in North Carolina called Second Chance, right up the street from North Carolina Central, a historically black college. And I said, I can't be at the right place. They said, oh, yes, sir, you're at the right place. I said, but my client is only in 3rd grade. This is an alternative school. They said, where you been, Mr. Hamid? This is an alternative school for 3rd graders, and we're working on it for 2nd and 3rd graders soon. That was in 2014. I about had one of those heart attacks like Fred Sanford. I said, what? An alternative school for a 3rd grader? They said, yes, and we're working on it for 1st through 3rd grade. Now, nationwide, efforts are being made to have full-blown alternative schools for 1st through 3rd grade plus middle school students. You want to know why? Then they don't have to estimate the school to prison pipeline. They'll know right where the niggers are. I'm going to say it again. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, we've all heard the term school to prison pipeline. It's not no myth. It's an absolute fact. This all ties in with the distraction that I'm talking about. You saw the title right. The royal wedding is nothing but a royal distraction and brainwashing, getting our minds off of topics and issues that we should be concentrating on, and watering down systemic and systematic racism. See, a black woman is in not the White House. A black woman is in the royal family. Prince Harry or Henry, whatever the hell his name, he married a black woman. It can't be that bad. And for those who are really